Hey guys, it's Dan here. Quickly want to say thank you for clicking on this video and we're starting right now. Today we are talking about deadlifting, probably one of the most controversial exercises, especially for beginners. And these right here are the most important things that I'm going to be talking about today. So if nothing else guys, please do yourself a favor and check these out, as they have very good information that will definitely help you on your journey. But if you do want to get the absolute best out of yourself, then stay watching as we're starting right now. Performed for over thousands of years, where the old Greeks lifted up boulders to show their strength, today the deadlift shows one of the biggest feats of strength humans can achieve. The deadlift is an amazing powerlifting move that targets multiple muscle groups, like the hamstrings, the quads, the glutes, lower back and upper back, which makes it understandable that you would want to achieve it as well. So let's talk about performing the deadlift movement. The modern deadlift has two different variations, conventional and sumo. And where the sumo deadlift uses the quads more, the conventional deadlift is harder on your spinal erectors off of the floor. The main difference between the two movements is the hand and feet positioning relative to the bar. And for today's video we'll mainly discuss the conventional deadlift, as this is the variation that most people start off with and you should probably do as well. So let's quickly run through the movement. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few guidelines from which you'll be able to assess if you should deadlift or not. Let's start with age. Regarding age, the deadlift is actually a very safe and healthy exercise if you are able to perform it correctly. And like most exercises, they are actually very healthy for teams to perform, as they promote bone health, muscle growth, fat loss and joint health. So the bad part regarding deadlifting is of course the risk for injuries, and especially young people, because if you run into a deadlifting injury while you're young, it can have very detrimental results for the rest of your life. But we'll talk about this aspect in a bit. First, something else. Because according to multiple professional physiologists like Dean Somerset, about 10 to 20% of the population may not do well in deadlifts no matter how you coach it, which is quite a big part of the population. And this is all because of their hip and bone structure, limiting their optimal range that they can actually perform the deadlift in. And this can be kind of dangerous and unhealthy. So how do you know if you are part of that 10 to 20%? Well, if you're training with a personal coach, you should both watch out for these signs. If your mobility is fine but you still can perform the deadlift, if your back gets cranky when you perform the deadlift, these are all things you really need to watch out for. And two other signs you should definitely watch out for are pain in the lower back and not being able to bend well all the way down to the floor. But even if your deadlifts are starting to feel comfortable, there are some things you should definitely watch out for. So let's talk about those in number 2. Adjustments, cues and weight. Let's go over some really important points to make your deadlifts a lot safer, a lot healthier and a lot more effective. Let's start out by saying that making small mistakes is okay, it's good even. Learning from your mistakes is essential. But unfortunately with the deadlift, small mistakes can build up over time and accumulate in something that is very dangerous. The reason for this is that these small mistakes will often accumulate in your form breaking down when you are actually handling heavier loads, and thus resulting in injuries. So of course, like any exercise, but especially with the deadlift, starting out with lightweight will help you to understand the movement and perform it correctly. And I know, starting out with lightweight isn't particularly fun. I hate it too. So to start, just take an empty bar, go into the squat rack and perform the exercise along with a video of someone performing it for you. And when you are starting to feel comfortable with absolutely no back pain and no uncomfortable feelings, try some weight. I would advise you to pull no more than 40 kilos when you're just starting out. Here you can also play around with different grips and find out what is comfortable for you. Examples of these are the regular, alternate, hooked and strapped grip. Also right now you can adjust your feet position and find out where you are standing the most comfortable and take note of it. If you are in possession of one, a weightlifting belt can really help you perform the movement much better and with much more comfort. However, it is important to start learning the deadlift without a belt, because if you become too reliant on it, there is a chance that your form will break down even if you're still wearing the belt. Which brings me to my last point, number 4. The most important tips I have for the deadlift. First tip, do not focus on rounding your back so far that you bend the other direction and strain your back that way. Instead, pull your gut in tight and let your core stabilize your back. When lowering the bar, don't bend your knees until the bar is past them. This will greatly help maintain the vertical path. This is kind of a weird one, but a very important one. When you're training in the gym, try not to look sideways at yourself in the mirror, because this could really cause injuries. Instead, you should just really have a friend record your lift for you. Then you can always watch it back at ease and don't have to risk an injury just to watch yourself lift. And when initiating the deadlift, again, really make sure that you take a deep breath into your gut to steady your core and avoid injuries in your lower back, which with bad form can be really common in deadlifts. So in short, the deadlift really is one of the best exercises out there, and if you are able to perform it even when you're young, you should definitely do it. I gave you some telltale signs to watch out for and some movements for mobility. Also, we talked about the most important cues to make your deadlifts much more easy and much more fun. I really hope you are able to take the deadlift into your workouts because it is a really fun and healthy and very good exercise. But that's going to do it for today. So once again, thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, sharing this video with a friend. Really helps out the channel. And become part of this community. Ask questions, help each other out. We're all here to learn and be the best we can be. Okay, gotta go.